morning. Don't think I've sent a video for a while. We have moved house recently, so we've been quite busy. And I also joined the gym, and it's been making me think about baby steps. I have joined the gym in the past, a long time ago, over 10 years ago. And the gym I chose was 2 minutes walk from the house. And it was really cheap, and there wasn't much in it, but it was really close. Like, there wasn't a huge variety of equipment available. But it was cheap and it was really close to the house. And so I could nip out for 20 minutes per session twice a week. And so it was easy, and I knew I was going to do it. Previously, I'd always done exercise with friends, so I'd had an exercise buddy that I couldn't let down. And it made me think about how we can persuade ourselves, how we motivate ourselves to do the things that we might be a little reluctant to do. And for me, certainly with exercise, although I enjoy it once I do it, motivating myself to actually go and do it is a little harder. And I have to put myself in a position where I feel like I can't get out of it. So, for example, if I'm exercising with a buddy, I feel bad about letting them down. So I make the effort to get out and do it. Many years ago, I used to work 4 days a week, and I would do research and voluntary work on Mondays with a clinical psychologist, which was fantastic. And then when that ended, I had my Mondays free, and I thought, well, what can I do with my Mondays? And I decided not to go back to work on Mondays, but to use it initially for work-life balance purposes. So to go running, this is when I lived in London, go running in Hampstead Heath, and do my laundry and do all the chores that I didn't want to do at the weekend, so I could leave my weekend free for relaxing. This was many, many years ago, and eventually I used my Mondays for therapy training, and that was how I balanced my training as a therapist so that it wasn't overwhelming with doing what was basically a full-time job over 4 days as well. But coming back to the idea of this exercise thing, recently I've been having a lot of joint pain, and the physiotherapist recommended I do strength training, which I was a little reluctant to do. And so I have signed up to the gym. And previously it wasn't fun. Like, it wasn't fun when I went to the gym. I'd listen to good music and that would get me going. But this time the gym package was quite cheap. It was a special offer, and they threw in 4 sessions of personal training as part of it. And so I was given this little program, and it was really easy. And I said to her, well, some of these are really easy. And she said, well, it's best to start easy. And if that's too easy and you want to do harder, then you can. But if you set yourself a challenge that's too difficult, you're just going to fail and you're not going to do it. And it really made me think about how I approach my life generally. So I have a tendency to have relatively high expectations of myself. And I'll set myself quite high challenges and get frustrated with myself because I then end up with burnout. That's my kind of instinctive or ingrained way of being. Since becoming a therapist, particularly with my training, which is Gestalt training, which is very rooted in Zen Buddhism and some of the more creative therapies. So there's a lot of focus on thinking about your body. And I've been doing yoga since I was 19 as well, so there's been this, for me, it's been a gradual journey of becoming more aware of my body, listening to what my body needs, hearing its voice, giving it what it needs, and not pushing myself too hard, accepting that your best on any given day may not be this massive to-do list that you have that you know you've got to get through. It may just be getting out of bed, having a shower, doing a few stretches, and checking your email. On any given day, that may be your best. And just because you are capable of more, in theory, doesn't mean that you should do it every single day. Because, and this comes back to part of my Gestalt training, we have this idea of a cycle of experience. And in this cycle of experience, we all start off in this place called the fertile void, which is an empty space of just being and letting ideas or feelings or sensations arise from this place of being. So, for example, you might be sitting around, I don't know, reading a book, chatting to someone. And then you start to notice that your stomach's rumbling. You're beginning to feel a bit hungry. So with this particular small cycle of experience, the first one is the noticing of the sensation. And you then move into the action or the thinking about the planning of the action, which is, oh, I might go and make myself a sandwich. And then you do the action. You go to the kitchen, you open the fridge, you make yourself a sandwich, you sit down and you eat it. And once you've eaten it, after a period of time, you no longer feel hungry. And so that cycle of experience is complete. You have identified what the need was, you have carried out the action to fulfill that need, and the action is now complete. That cycle of experience is complete, and you return to the fertile void. And this space of the fertile void is something that we often don't appreciate as being really important. And for me, the way that I access this fertile void is by doing activities that allow me to just not do anything practical. I don't, a situation where I can't do anything on my to-do list. So for example, going for a walk in nature, doing some exercise, if you enjoy the exercise, having a coffee with a friend that's relaxing. It's not about problem solving or listening to someone's problems. It's just a pleasant, relaxing chat with a friend. So it's something which is not taxing on you. It's something that you enjoy, that you find peaceful. Colouring in, even doing the dishes for some people is a good way to access this space of peace, of non-demand, where you can then become aware of the feelings within your body and what it is you need. And obviously there could be physical feelings like hunger, but there could also be something like, I'm feeling sad. I need to do something about this. What am I feeling sad about? What do I need to do? Can I do anything? Do I just need to sit with this sadness and accept it and wait for it to pass? Or it could be something like, I'm feeling really uncomfortable. Why am I feeling uncomfortable? Is this discomfort physical? Do I need to go to the loo? Do I need to change my clothes? Am I too cold? Am I too hot? Or it could be something more emotional. So is there something in my life that doesn't feel right? And do I need to go and do something about that? So yeah, I've kind of gone off on a tangent here because I started thinking about the idea of baby steps, and certainly for me with the gym, taking baby steps, starting off easy, and then when, in a few weeks of doing the easy stuff, then move it up a little bit. And I realised that so it is with anything in life. Like if you decide that you need to change something in your life, you don't just suddenly leave the house and go and change it. You don't go to therapy and after one session everything changes. You look at the little baby steps that you can do first. So, it could be, do I just need to drink a bit more water? Is there a problem with what I'm eating? Can I make little changes first? Do I maybe need to start walking a bit more? Could I get out in the garden for 10 minutes a day and have a cup of tea? Could I make sure that I set aside 10 minutes in the evening with my partner or with my children or with my parents, just make a phone call once a week, so that, little actions that can start to make changes. And when it comes to our own behaviour, it's in a sense even more important to take little changes, because change is only going to become permanent if it's sustainable. And if we start off too big with the changes we want to make, it's not going to be sustainable and we're going to fail, just like going to the gym and starting off too big with something too hard. So really, I suppose that's a lesson for all of us. And I'm wanting to encourage you this week to think about little changes that you might want to make to your life. Just one this week, and see if it's something that feels sustainable. It could be food or diet-based, it could be exercise-based, it could be work-based. Can you take 10 minutes, if you don't take a lunch break, could you take 10 minutes off at work and just go for a walk around the block? Or just stand up and stretch? Something as small as that could help. So, yeah, I'm just wondering what everyone else's thoughts are on this. If you want to share, I'd be very happy to see your thoughts around this. And equally, if you don't want to share, you don't have to. So yeah, I hope you have a good week, and I hope you all identify one little thing that you might want to change, and I hope it goes really well. So good luck with it. What am I going to change this week? I think I'm going to be giving myself breaks this week. I need breaks, so that's going to be my focus, giving myself 10-minute breaks every so often, just to be. That's my mission. Good luck, guys.